Hello everyone, and welcome to this conversation and learning again. And today's learning, just on the topic of passion and purpose, is going to be based on one of the famous legendary true story of a famous painter in history called Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, and the reason why the story is actually very relevant is based on the fact that the guy was able to unleash and show purpose and chase that purpose with great passion during his time. And to start off is that Leonardo da Vinci was born in 1452, and the full name is Leonardo di Piero da Vinci, just to mean Leonardo was the son of Piero from Vinci, and Vinci is usually in Italy. He was born out of wedlock. The mom was poor, but now the dad was from a rich background. And why this is very relevant, we notice that Leonardo had only one thing that made him unique, and that is the bit where he was very curious. He had that curious mind whereby he had to move from learning philosophy, going ahead into learning science, space, also being an artist, and at the same time he also went ahead into learning in engineering space. So when the other kids were busy playing the other stuff, for him he was actually very busy discovering about paint and what have you. And when he grew up, at an age of 14, that is when now the dad discovered that the son was so much interested in arts. And when he discovered that, he had to map him into one of the famous schools in Italy. And that school is actually in Florence. And during that learning in Florence, he was mapped to one of the famous teachers called Andrea del Verrocchio. And during that time and the stay there, Verrocchio was one of the best teachers for Leonardo, because what he did was that he had to orient and give very great assignments to our guy here. And one of the best assignments that was given to him by Verrocchio was one of the famous painting called the Baptism of Christ. And I think if you can go ahead into Googling how that painting was, it is one of the legendary paintings that you can ever see. And also after going through the learnings, he went ahead into starting her own painting, whereby he did one of the paintings in 1473. Just at an age of 21, he did one of the famous painting called the Una Valley Landscape, one of also the famous paintings whereby there was an Una river, and besides you could see the best portraits about the mountains and also the trees. And when he proceeded, he got very famous because now the people who are living within the vicinity in Florence, they started actually noticing how talented this guy was. And in that space, he started even winning the hearts of the kings and the leaders. And from there, he actually was referred by one of the kings and the leaders during that time to go and study and to go and work in Milan. And actually in Milan, that is when now he started also uncovering so much of the paintings, whereby we're able to see him doing one of also the famous paintings called the Salvator Mundi. Salvator Mundi is one of the paintings whereby you're able to see Christ holding the universe in one hand, then the other hand is being used to actually a gesture of moreover Christ blessing the universe. And this is one of the famous paintings, because when time went by, we will come to realize in 2017, that is in November 3rd, this painting was sold as one of the very expensive paintings, in a way that it was actually quoted and sold at $450 million. And if you convert that into the Kenya shillings, it goes to a tune of 58 million. So you can see how the passion itself was able to bring something into the world that can be quoted with so much of the funds. And actually in 1503, that is the moment now he started also working on one of the famous paints called the Mona Lisa. And I think this is one of the most celebrated painting in history, in terms of the fact that it's one of the paintings you cannot even afford to buy. And looking through history, it has been now 500 years, and we are still talking about the capability of Leonardo da Vinci. And also he was a guy who was so much focused in sharing the thoughts through writing. And there is one of the famous books, or the famous notebooks that he created called the Codex Leicester. This notebook was one also of the best priced kind of a notebook, which was actually sold in 1994 at a cash price of $30 million, and if you convert that to the Kenya shillings, you will notice that is around 3.9 million, actually 3.9 billion. So you can notice that these are the works that were done long time ago, but there is a bit of passion and details that Leonardo da Vinci was putting in his works, because he tried to be unique in a way that his paintings was so much detailed. He added some features that the other painters did not actually capture. And even just going back a bit also is that during one of the paintings that he did for Verrocchio, is that Verrocchio had to resign from doing the painting because now he realized my student has outsmarted me because it was so much perfect. So through all this story, we're able to discover two things, is that Leonardo da Vinci was able to discover his capability at a younger age, but he never stopped there, because there is that bit of discovering the purpose itself, then there is that bit of going ahead into learning about it. So he was so much flexible by allowing himself to go to the best schools, that is in Florence. Then after learning it, he uses the skills again to create his own craft, whereby now he started his own paintings that were well celebrated till now. Then something else is that even during the painting over the Mona Lisa, which he actually started in 1503, he carried his work. Everywhere he went, he could carry that painting to fine-tune it. So it was more of holding the purpose into or on his heart so that he cannot lose any details of it. So that also shows us that once we are sure that this is the place we have to focus on, you're not going to lose your work along the way. So it's something that you look through it, it really motivates you that anytime you've discovered that pain point that makes you who you are, you don't let it go. Go ahead into learning about it and map yourself to those people who are good in it as well. Get the skills and then go ahead into applying the same skills to your own craft. Yeah. So that is it for now. I think this was actually helpful for you to learn from. Thank you so much.